Angel, we're on.
Good evening, and welcome to the August 19th, 2024 Council meeting of Clark, New Jersey. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Councilman Hund.
Here.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Here.
Councilman Minetti.
Here.
Councilman O'Connor.
Here.
Councilman Smith.
Here.
Councilman Toll.
Here.
Council President Albanese.
Here. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, as adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by mailing the annual schedule of meetings to the Star-Ledger, Union County Hawk, Union County Local Source, and Tappan to Clark, by posting such annual meeting schedule on the bulletin board in Town Hall reserved for such announcements, the official website of the township, and the proper filing of said notice. Formal action may be taken at this meeting.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This time, we're going to move on to communications from the mayor and reports of the township officers. We'll start with the mayor.
Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen, members of council, good evening. I'd just like to start off with congratulating the Clark Fire Department on their 100th anniversary and dedication to the ladder truck Saturday past. It was a great event. It was attended by many people, and I just want to remind the folks of this great town that the fire department is a backbone in our community. These people are volunteers. They put in a tremendous amount of hours in training, a tremendous amount of hours in going out there and fighting fires, going to alarm calls, all hours of the day and night. And if you think about it sometimes, that here you are sleeping at 1 o'clock in the morning and the fire alarm goes and you run out in the middle of the night, and let's say it's a false alarm or a minor alarm, and you're back an hour, hour and a half later, how do you really get to sleep and go to work the next day? And with that being said, yesterday, we were pretty lucky on Sunday. We had a little heavy rain go through Clark, but it was nowhere near as bad as some of the other municipalities in the state. Our neighbors, distant neighbors, up in New Providence and Berkeley Heights got over 5 inches of rain in 45 minutes. And our fire department was dispatched to go up to Berkeley Heights with our boats to help rescue some people who were stuck in floodwaters. And Chief Sarasa reminded me today that Clark and Cranford are two towns that are trained in aquatic rescue. And as long as there's not a flooding situation in our town, they will then deploy to another community and help them out. So I want to thank the fire department for going up to New Providence. The mayor up there, Mayor Morgan's a good, long, dear, old friend of mine, and I'm glad we were able to help, and thank God no one was seriously injured for either our fire department, no injuries at all, or any of the residents up there. I want to congratulate Ralph Bernardo and his staff on this year's summer camp once again. Another great turnout. Another great turnout. So I hope the children of our community enjoyed the camp as much as I know Ralph and the staff enjoyed having it, and we as the mayor and council enjoyed funding and providing everything those children need and to give to Ralph to make sure they have a great, great, great summer. Branch cleanup. Folks, here's important. Branch cleanup. I know it's a good topic in Clark. There's 2 cleanups left, August and September. August and September, 2 cleanups left. We stopped cleaning branches. We started around St. Patrick's Day. We end at the end of September. We have to get the branches ground down into mulch that we give to you for free to get ready to begin leaf cleanup. So we got to clear out the yard. If there is a major storm, some kind of storm, we will, of course, make provisions to come out and get that. But if you decide that you're going to trim your tree the second week of October, I hope you have a fireplace, because if not, you're going to keep those branches on your property until March. We can't keep making exceptions for this. Please help us help you. We don't have 50 men in our DPW, And every employee is precious out there to try to get some tasks done each and every day. So 2 branch cleanups left, August and September. School is opening. On behalf of myself and the Township Council, and I'm sure the Clark Police Department, slow down, please. Kids are going to be on the street. Parents are going to be going to school. Mom and Dad, I've always noticed in the history of my life dropping kids off to school, it always seems like that first week is a little more hectic than the rest of the year. I don't know if it's summer remorse and it takes a little longer for the kids to get out of the car. I don't know, the answer to that, but it always gets busy, and if there's rain, it seems like it slows down the school traffic getting into the building. So please be conscious of the backups onto our township roads. If you're going to have a backpack for your child, most do today, try not to put it in the back of your SUV. Keep it on the seat in the front or back, so this way your child can grab that and go and try to open up another spot for somebody else. Next week, Jim and I are supposed to be having a informal meeting with Ed Oatman, the county manager, and we are obviously going to be speaking about the reservoir. If there's anything that's noteworthy to let you know, I will be glad to do that. But we were supposed to do it a week or 10 days ago, but Ed got called into jury duty. So long as everything stays copacetic with my schedule, Jim's schedule, and of course his schedule, we're scheduled for some time next week, and we'll let you know what the temperature is in the reservoir at that point. That's it. Thank you very much. Oh, nope, I got 2 more things here. Motor vehicle stops from the Clark Police Department this month were 252. There was 34 assigned radar details, and there was 17 assigned traffic enforcement details. Thank you very much.
Mayor, you have an appointment to make? There's an appointment. Do you see it on your...
Mayor? Do you want to announce your appointment this evening?
Oh, I'm sorry. Give me a sec here. For some reason, I'm getting blurry here. Okay, we're talking about communications. Yes, I'm going to be appointing Carmen Brocato as a regular member of the Planning Board, filling in the unexpired term of Nate Klee till the December 31, 2027. Carmen was a past member of the Zoning Board, and that's my appointment for this evening. Thank you. Wait, did I miss something? No.
Thank you. At this time, we'll move on to the report of council committees, starting with Councilman Steve Hund.
Thank you, Madam President. And to follow up on the mayor's report, I have the police department report for the month of July. We saw a total of 1,876 calls for services included but not limited to 124 ambulance requests, 3 arrive requests, 9 fire department requests, 10 motor vehicle and residential lockouts, 79 alarm calls, 63 motor vehicle accidents, 35 shoplifting and theft, 6 fraudulently theft, and 237 were 911 calls, and we had 1,117 were miscellaneous calls. There were a total of 33 arrests, including but not limited to 22 for shoplifting, 8 for warrants, 1 for criminal mischief, and 2 for aggravated assault. And the juvenile data will appear on our September report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Hund. Councilman Mazzarella?
Yes, thank you, Council President. This is my DPW report this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, there'll be no electronic drop-off this month due to the holiday weekend coming up. It will be in September, so please make note of it. Grass pickup will be every Tuesday. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen, and please place them in biodegradable bags only, and only grass clippings. Any other items such as rocks, landscape wood, plastic bags, fertilizer bags, rakes, mulch bags are not considered grass clippings. They will not be picked up. So please make note of it. That goes in your regular garbage to discard. As the mayor said, branch pickup is winding down. We have one this month and one next month. So for this month, please place your branches out this week. and it will be picked up next week. Bulky and appliance pickup appointments are required before your scheduled pickup week. Metal and bulky pickups are completely different, and they require completely different trucks. So please schedule the correct pickup to remove your items. Mulch deliveries is still available. Deliveries will be on Fridays. Schedule your deliveries on Thursdays, please. Let's see, DPW has been making available at Gate 16 free wood. They're 16-inch long pieces. Please do not make a mess. When the bin is empty, we will replenish it, and no log splinters or chain stores will be permitted. We have a number of saplings, tree saplings, for planting this year. We don't know the species, so if you care to get one, please contact DPW at ourclock.com to be added to the list. And these trees will be placed in the front of your property for DPW would schedule that, okay? And for any other information, please contact or email dpw@ourclock.com for more information. Thank you. That's the extent of my report.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Councilman Manitti.
Thank you, Madam President. In the month of July, the Clark Fire Department responded to 52 calls, totaling 277 for the year. The calls included, but are not limited to, numerous odor calls and alarm calls. 2 calls were for mutual aids, 8 calls for motor vehicle incidents, and 2 calls for home fires, where luckily no one was hurt. As the mayor said, this past Saturday, the Clark Fire Department celebrated 100 years serving our community. And on behalf of Chief Saras and all the members of the Clark Fire Department, I would like to thank everyone who attended their celebrations. As always, I'd like to thank the members of the Clark Fire Department for their hard work and dedication keeping our town safe. This concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Manitti. Councilman O'Connor.
Thank you. From the Finance Committee, the town continues to be able to meet its current obligations. And from the Emergency Squad, the squad hosted more than 75 members from the 2nd District of the EMS Council of New Jersey for a CEU class on the legal aspects of documentation. Congratulations to Robert Macaluso, who just successfully completed his EMT class. The call volume was 137 calls in the month of June, with 4 mutual aid calls. This does not include any calls that they were dispatched and canceled. Total hours responding to calls is approximately 890 man-hours, and again, this does not include any hours the members were on duty but not on calls. Year-to-date call volume is 778 calls. With regard to membership, the squad is hosting an emergency vehicle operator course. Actually, it did it yesterday on August 18th from 8 to 3. They are still looking for drivers and will schedule another one in the fall. Anyone with a clean driving record who is interested in becoming a driver for the squad is invited. Please contact the squad via the township website at www.ourclock.com. Anyone interested in becoming a member can email them at www.ourclock.com. And servicing the community, the squad provided coverage for the township's 4th of July fireworks street fair. They will host 2 blood drives in July and more in August. Please check our lawn sign for all upcoming blood drives. Respectfully submitted, Lori Sheldon, trustee. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman O'Connor. Councilman Smith.
Thank you, Madam President. From the Pool and Recreation Department, the Clark Community Pool will close on Monday, Labor Day. It was a great summer, almost 1,000 memberships this year, which is way up over previous years. It's due to the hot weather, as well as the summer-long 50th pool anniversary celebration. I just want to give kudos to our managers, lifeguards, and entire staff for making the pool a safe and fun place. The pool will officially close on Tuesday, September 3rd, with a doggy dip from 12 to 3 p.m. So if you're interested, bring your dog to the pool between those hours, and the dog can jump in the pool. The rules and regulations for this event will be posted later this week online, or details are available in Ralph Bernardo's office. The summer rec camp, as the mayor mentioned, was another huge success. It averaged 678 kids
per day, all Clark residents. So again, great thanks to Ralph Bernardo, his counselors, for an amazing summer and keeping the children safe. The fall recreation brochures will be available later this week. They'll be online or available in hard copy. You could always stop by the recreation office for all the details. It will be for the fall and winter activities. And for the first time ever, the Clark Recreation Department is going to host a Clark Family Night at the Red Bulls Arena in Harrison in September. The exact date will be finalized by the end of this week, and details will also be posted online, and information to reserve your seats and get tickets will be available in Ralph's office. And if you ever have any questions, you can call Ralph in the office or Emily Lambert, his assistant, at 732-428-8400, or email rbernardo@rclark.com. And that's my report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Councilman Toll?
Thank you, Madam President. I'm going to ask the council to indulge with me. I have a little bit of a lengthy report, but I'm going to I talk fast, so I'll get through it. Last week, I got a notification for a demo. As municipal historian, I get, anytime a building is going to be removed from the landscape of Clark, I get a notification to go over and have my photographer take a picture of it. So we have a record of what was what. I got stopped in my tracks last week when I got the address. 211 Westfield Avenue. 211 Westfield Avenue is known today as Kawicki Gorney Funeral Home. But to Clark people and Clark historian, it's known as the Emma King House or the King Estate. The King Mansion is destined to be taken down. This house has a long history, and it's been a landmark house for the township. And it starts with this. Benjamin King, born in England in 1856, he immigrated to America in the 1870s and settled in Elizabeth, New Jersey, meeting a Clark resident named Doris Schumacher, who with the Schumacher estate was on Bartell. Later on would become Ma Gertz, Ma Cameron's. The house was a luxury estate that the family owned, had lots of money from Germany. They owned a China company that made porcelain china, fine china that went into New York. But they lived out in the gardens. They were called it the gardens at the time. So Benjamin King married Doris Schumacher and came to Clark, and the family helped build Benjamin and Dora's house, which was on Westfield Avenue. As a child, we always looked up to that house as the haunted house because it was kind of overgrown by that time. The Kings settled in their new home quickly and they moved into a farm town of Clark through the 1890s and slowly developed the first Gilded Age Victorian house of Clark in central New Jersey. It was one of the most prim and proper and beautiful estates. The local farmers would take their families over after eating an evening meal or a Sunday and walk in and visit to the King House just to see the lights go on when electricity was added. So this was in 1889. In 1890, they added a front porch, and then the turret was added in 1898. The turret, which is still there today, and the property remained in the King family. There was Emma and her brother, Benjamin S. King, who married into the Sheeby family who lived across from the high school. They owned all the strawberry fields from across from ALJ all the way back to what is Target today. That was all their farm. Farmers marrying into farmers, which was typical of the time. A carriage house was added in 1905, which we have a photograph there. And this was the final photograph. Thank you. Thanks, Bill. I appreciate your assistance on this. In 1880, the Kings became parents of daughter Emma Taylor King, and 1890, Benjamin S. King were born. And it's from this home which they became known as 211 Westfield Avenue, the King Mansion. Benjamin King would go on to become the 16th and 22nd mayor of Clark, New Jersey. He was only superseded in length of office by our current mayor, Sal Bonacorso. Our Mayor King left the township, left the mayor, to go on to become a freeholder, which he ended up bringing loads of money and resources back to Clark to help the developing farm community to become a suburban home. It was from his efforts, that's okay. It's from his efforts that the town of Clark and the foundation of what we have today was from his efforts. The Kings became a popular family in Clark, becoming involved in all walks of daily life. This would change when Dora King died in 1928 and Benjamin King suffered a heart attack and died in 1929. Emma, the daughter, would go on and do the following. She became a truant officer for the Clark Public School System for over 50 years, retiring in 1969. Emma and her brother Benny ended up creating the First Aid Squad, and Benny married Sue Shebe King, and they lived across the street is what today is the Exxon station on the corner of Westfield and Brant Avenue. Their home is long gone, but across the street, they donated the land for the First Aid Squad, and they donated the materials to have the First Aid Squad built. Then, of course, they moved over in the late 60s to the current location on Raritan Road. Emma would remain unmarried through her life. Her family was the Township of Clark and the children of the town. She gave whatever extra money she had to the kids of Clark to make sure they got the proper education, proper food during the good years of the Depression and during the World War II eras. Benjamin S. King, her brother, died of a heart attack in 1946. The King children were instrumental in the creation of Clark Volunteer Emergency Squad. Emma King remained living at 211 Westfield Avenue until 1976, when at age 90, she suffered from dementia and was put into Ashbrook Nursing Home over in Scotts Plains. When Emma King died, her house and her estate and her contents were all donated to the Township of Clark. Everything was donated to the Clark, but the township had just taken on the responsibility of the Dr. William Robinson plantation in 1974. So the wishes of having two historical sites was not accepted. It just was not financially feasible. And the town took the money and allocated it for helping the Dr. Robinson out and helping other aspects of the community, which is Emma's wishes. Finish up now. The King Mansion was sold to the Quickie Gorney funeral family of Elizabeth, who, under the direction of manager Carl Quickie, restored the King House and added a viewing room and cleared the backyard for property for a parking lot in 1981. It is from this adaptive reuse. The stone wall was removed and additional upgrades were done to the property, which we know for the last 43 years as a vibrant piece of the Westfield Avenue corridor. And I call it the anchor store for our downtown. In August of 2024, an agreement has been made between Jonathan Quickie, the owner of Quickie Gorney Funeral Home, and another entity which has not been identified yet, to sell the property for a different purpose. But the purpose that they're intending to do will not allow a funeral home to be transferred of use. So they're talking demolition. When I get more information, I will provide it, but that is startling, and this house has been nothing but a part of our lives and a part of the fabric of what Clark is all about. We cannot lose another historical site. I'm just trying to we've got enough battles right now with the reservoir and what the county's trying to do, but I just cannot see. It's heartbreaking to me to see that house go. If you understand what I'm talking about, and you're a Clark kid or a Clark resident, or an older Clark resident or older Clark kid, you understand how I feel. So that's it. I thank you, Madam President, for your time and the council's time. We hope they come up with a proper solution.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. This time I'll give the director's report from the library. We have some fun programs coming up in August. Finger Painting Friday, August 23rd at 10:30 a.m. National Aviation Week Film Festival will be held on Saturday, August 24th, all day long from 10 to 4:30. There'll be various airplane different activities, and they'll have a film festival and serving a lot of savory popcorn. Friday, Family Flicks on Saturday, August 13th from 2 to 4 p.m. Beat the heat and come and watch some of the adventure movies that are consistent with the theme, the reading theme for this summer. And then please keep this date in mind. Thursday, September 26th from 6:30 to 8:30, they're going to have an opening house night at the library, celebrating the new library card sign-up month. From 6:30 to 8:30, there'll be a magician there who'll be performing throughout the library, and various other highlights, a Harry Potter escape room, scavenger hunt, food and crafts that evening. And I want to report that we've heard about a lot of different great statistical improvements and many years that some of the organizations have operated here. The library this past month in July had over 10,000 visitors at the local library, which is fantastic. We're usually around 8,500. I don't know if it's the programs they're having, the heat out there, but I'm very happy to report that to you. And also, the library is very fortunate. We have a really well-established Friends of the Library organization, and they donate a lot and support the programs that you see at the library, and also provide the different librarians with purchases that they can make. Tonight, I want to feature two different families that have made a contribution to the library. The first one is the Frowery family. They generously donated a new bike rack at the library. And Linda Frowery was an avid library user, loved biking all around Clark. So hopefully you can take your bike and ride over to the library and enjoy that library, bike rack. And next, we have a $10,000 donation in memory of Barbara W. Suma and Peter S. Rauba from the Rauba family. So both Barbara and Peter were enthusiastic supporters of the library, and you can see the tradition continues. So Barbara enjoyed coloring club, crafts, arts programs, while Peter loved reading all the newspapers and spending time at the library. So in their memory, the library is purchasing a collection of coloring books, an art kit, a new display case, and a 3D printer, as well as a newspaper shelf and a new banner and vinyl printer. So hopefully you'll take advantage of those new features at the library. The 3D printer has been amazing, so now they have two of them. So if you go over and you purchase the materials that are used, you can use the 3D printer to make whatever you enjoy. There are limitations, though, nothing violent. That concludes my report on the library. At this time, we'll move on to ordinances, appropriations, and claims.
Thank you, Madam President. For the record, there have been no objections received in connection with the proposed ordinance. Ordinance 24-12 is an ordinance to amend Section 33 of Chapter 347 of the Code of the Township of Clark entitled Vehicles and Traffic.
This time, I'd like to open up open this ordinance up to a public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to come forward and speak about this ordinance? Seeing no one, I'd like a motion to close this portion of the meeting.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Councilman O'Connor. All in favor? Aye. This time, I'd like a motion to adopt the ordinance. Do I have a motion?
Move that, please.
Thank you, Councilman Hahn. Do I have a second?
I'll second that, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. Okay, no discussion. At this point, we'll move on to the roll call when you're ready, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Minniti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Ordinance adopted.
Okay, at this time, we'd like to go on to the introduction of a proposed ordinance.
We have one ordinance for introduction, 24-13, an ordinance to amend Section 36 of Chapter 3 of the Code of the Township of Clark.
Okay. Councilor, do I have a motion?
I'll move that.
Do I have a second? Thank you, Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman O'Connor. The public hearing on this ordinance will be on September 16th. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Minniti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes. This time we'll go on to the payment of claims. Councilman O'Connor?
Thank you very much. I have reviewed the bills for the month totaling $368,086.28. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we'll move on to the citizens' hearing on any agenda items. If you'd like to address or make remarks about one of the items that are on this evening's agenda, you can come forward, state your name and address. Is there anyone wishing to come forward? Seeing no one, I'd like a motion to close this portion of the meeting.
Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. Thank you, Councilman Hund. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, at this time, we'll move on to the resolutions.
Okay, the first resolution is appointing Joseph Arancio to the Planning Board as alternate one member to fill the unexpired term of Carmen Mercado, effective August 19, 2024, until December 31, 2025.
Council, do I have a motion?
I'll move that.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Roll call when you're ready.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Manitti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Number 4 is authorizing the police chief to execute the memorandum of understanding to renew participation in the Arrive Together program to enhance and support response to certain behavioral health crisis calls.
Thank you, Councilman Hund. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. Did you want to make some comments, Mr. Ulrich?
Yes, I appreciate the council, as does the police department, supporting this. We've been doing this now for a year. We had 10 calls over the last year. 3 of them were actually in Clark at the time that we had officers on duty. There were 7 calls outside of Clark. Total hours was 13 hours and 30 minutes. And, there was only 1 instance where we increased overtime. So we've been doing it on primarily regular time. So this is a great program throughout the county, supported by the police department, supported by the township residents. And, after what happened in, Fort Lee, it's a good addition to the response.
Absolutely. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, would you call the roll when you're ready?
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Manitti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Number 5 is authorizing a 1-year extension of the contract for the collection and disposal of leaves to Frank Galbraith and Son Excavation and Demolition in the amount of $51,300.
Do you have a motion, Council?
Yes, I'll move it.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman Manitti. Roll call when you're ready.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Manitti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Okay, number 6 is authorizing the sale of Block 38.03, Lot 36.01, owned by the Township of Clark, not required for public purposes, pursuant to NJSA 40A:12-139A et sec.
Do you have a motion, Council?
I'll move that.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Do I have a second? Thank you, Councilman Hund. This and all the other resolutions were discussed at our workshop meeting. In this case, we had tried to sell this odd piece of land. In the past, we had a citizen come forward and say they were interested in buying it, a neighboring citizen adjoined to the lot. So we're happy to be disposing of it. It sounds like a win-win for both the individual and the township. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Manitti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Okay, number 7 is seeking approval of the Director of the Division of Local Government Services for insertion of a special item of revenue in the amount of $15,175.65 for the National Opioid Settlement.
Do you have a this is going to be entire council?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. This opioid settlement revenue needs to be added to the budget because we don't know exactly what amounts we're getting at the time the budget's created, so we are permitted to add that to our budget. These awards will go on for about 30 years and can be used to fight opioid addiction. And there's a specific list of items that the money can be spent on. Roll call, Madam Clerk?
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Manitti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Number 8 is seeking approval of the Director of the Division of Local Government Services for insertion of a special item of revenue in the amount of $152,574 for the New Jersey Association of County and City Health Officials.
Do it.
Okay, this motion is being moved and seconded by entire council to add these funds to our budget. Madam Clerk, we're very happy to receive them. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll when you're ready?
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Maniti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Number 9 is opposing legislation bypassing local zoning for home-based businesses as it undermines local planning and zoning to ensure mobility, safety, accessibility, order, and public good for the land in the community.
In council?
I'll move that.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
I'll second that, please.
Thank you, Councilman Hund. So this piece of legislation was discussed at length at our workshop meeting, and what we're opposing is we don't want to have the state impose rules regarding zoning, regarding local businesses that run out of homes, et cetera. Not every shoe fits all, and we would like to follow a home rule-based legislation, so we're supporting this, or at least I'm supporting this, and that was the general consensus of the discussion at the meeting, because we feel that each town has its own needs. We're not all the same. There's large towns, small towns. Our town is our town, and we want to follow home rule. Roll call ready, when you are ready, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Maniti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Number 10 is authorizing submission of an application for the Kids Recreation Grant in the amount of $12,859.
This also will be moved and seconded by entire council, and we're very pleased to get this money to make some improvements to our facility and use it for kids' recreation. When you're ready, Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Maniti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Number 11 is authorizing submission of an application for the Greening Union County Grant in the amount of $3,000.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So we are going to motion and second this by entire council, hoping to get this money from the county to make our environment more green. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Maniti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Okay. Number 12 is authorizing the business administrator to execute a semi-annual service contract with Universal Fitness Services, LLC, to maintain the equipment at the Senior Fitness Center in the amount of $300 per call, effective September 2024 to August 2025.
Do you have a motion, council?
Yes, I'll move it.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Thank you, Councilman Smith. So obviously, we, as you may know, we have a senior fitness center for the benefit of those over 55 years or older, and we need to maintain the equipment. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Maniti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Number 13 is award of contract for the Bartell Park parking improvements and various other capital improvements to AJM Contractors in the amount of $247,333.
Do you have a motion?
I'll move that, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. Do you have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman Maniti. Do you want to make any comments?
I will,
Mr.
Madam
Albert?
President. To the residents of the area of Bartell Park, we've done everything possible. We keep trying different things to help alleviate the overload of cars, and now we're trying another thing to help take the cars out in front of your house and put them somewhere where they're off of your driveways and off of your front of your home. We've worked with permit parking. We've worked with different reconfiguration of the parking. We are continuing, and we will continue to get this right. It's not easy. It is not an easy task because you have two different entities, a soccer league, and then you have the dance studio, adding more traffic to an area. We're trying our best. We will continue doing this until we get it right. Thank you.
Did you want to add anything, Mr. Ulrich?
No, that's sufficient. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have roll call when you're ready?
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Minetti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Number 14 is accepting the renewal service agreement with Train US Incorporated for HVAC equipment services at the Clark Police Department in the amount of $13,738 and authorizing the business administrator to execute the agreement effective September 1st, 2024 for a one-year period.
Do I have a motion, Council?
Please.
Thank you, Councilman Hunt. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Roll call, Madam Clerk?
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Minetti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Okay. Number 15 is approving the license agreement with the Clark Soccer Club and authorizing the business administrator to execute and deliver the agreement.
I'll move that.
Thank you, Councilman Minetti. Do I have a second?
I'll second that, please.
Thank you, Councilman Hund. Any comments?
Again, this is a license agreement, as we discussed at our workshop meeting, that, details the terms and conditions, and it's just a renewal. We changed around some of the wording on liability insurance and stuff like that, but other than that, it's a renewal from the old contract, or old
Existing.
license agreement, not contract.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, when you're ready, you can call the roll.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Minetti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes. At this time, we're going to move on to the consent agenda resolutions.
First resolution is authorizing the tax collector to refund overpayment of sewer fees in the amount of $708.19. Next is authorizing the tax collector to refund overpayment of taxes in the amount of $10,309.32. Number 18 is authorizing the tax collector to apply sewer account balance adjustments as credit in the amount of $10,175. Next is authorizing the tax collector to settle a tax appeal for Block 60, Lot 65.05, as authorized by the Tax Court of New Jersey, with credit issued in the amount of $4,516.56. And finally, authorizing the tax collector to settle a tax appeal for Block 21, Lot 37, as authorized by the Tax Court of New Jersey, with credit issued in the amount of $328.29 for 2022 and $338.06 for 2023.
Thank you. Council, do I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman Minetti. Madam Clerk, is there any new business calendar?
I'll just call the roll, and
Oh, sorry.
there's no new business, for the record.
Yes.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Minetti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes. Okay, so we have no new business. At this time, I'd like to open up the meeting for public comments. If there is anyone who wishes to come forward, please address your comments to the council as a body, and you have 5 minutes in duration. And if you could please give your name and address to the clerk. Thank you. Good evening.
Hi, can you hear me? Diana Gonzalez, Stummer Drive. So when our committee came here today, we just were hoping that there was an update, and the mayor already gave the update. I have a frog in my throat, excuse me. So there's not much more to say. But as I sat here and I listened, I wanted to comment on a few things that I heard. I agree, Ralph does a great job with recreation. My kids enjoyed it. going there to the camp, and now they work there. And it's a terrific program. The library, I use it, it's terrific as well. Clark is a great place to live. And I think that's why our Reservoir Committee is so committed to keeping it a great place to live. What I did want to share was, we have a social media page, and the support from residents is really overwhelming. It fuels us. Surely you've seen the lawn signs around town. So not only are people willing to take a sign, they're willing to pay for the signs, they're willing to donate to put out more lawn signs. We can't even keep up. So residents are really hopeful that there'll be some kind of compromise. We are too. What I wanted to share, though, is, of course, whenever you try to do something good, even if you have like 100 people that love it, there's always somebody who's like questioning what's going on. So there was someone on social media that questioned the integrity of our plan. They said, who put this plan together, this proposal? Was it a bunch of amateurs? Is it realistic? And we responded, and I thought, I want others to know this. Our committee is comprised of a core team and an extended team. And I started thinking about the question, and we've got folks with experience in corporate strategy, construction management, project management, engineers, lawyers, business owners, so really smart people. And we door knocked and we listened to residents, and we've been iterating a lot, right? So when we put this plan together, it was with a lot of thought and expertise. And we didn't just put it together by ourselves. We consulted the Sierra Club, and we got the support of the Sierra Club, not just locally, but at the state level. And the Rahway River Watershed Association as well participated in putting that plan together. So I just wanted to make sure you understood the level of effort and the expertise. And then the last thing, Mr. Toll. In undergrad, I was a history and political science major, so I love history. As someone who's a first-generation American, I've gone back to Europe, to my family's, origins, and I went to my grandpa's house where he was raised, multiple generations, and I met with his last living brother, and he said, "Come with me," and we walked down the road, the cobblestone road, and he took me to someone's house, and he took out this skeleton key this big, and then we walked to the 1600s church, and he opened the door, and then he showed me around the church, and he showed me all these historically significant artifacts in my ancestry. And then I saw where my family was buried as well. So it matters, right? And so I don't know that there's anything that can be done. I'm just hearing about this. But I appreciate your effort and bringing it to the forefront. And if there's anything that can be done by the residents, I'd love to take part. But it sounds like it might be a done deal. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Nancy Tuwaskis, 43 Colonial Drive, and I'm here to speak about my interest in the downtown Clark area. That is the vision of yourselves and the mayor. Getting pretty excited about it as I drive up and down Westfield Avenue. And the one thing I wanted to express was hopefully there'll be a limit on the height of the buildings that are going to be on Westfield Avenue. I know there's one new building with the coffee shop on the bottom and 2 stories of apartments, and that seems to be a good height. And the reason I'm bringing it up is I go downtown Rahway a lot. And downtown Rahway, some of the streets, the buildings are so high, it's like you're driving through a tunnel, like a Manhattan street, and it's really disturbing because it's dark during the day, because there's no sunlight that can get through. So I hope in Clark we take a look at other towns, and not Rahway, unfortunately. I don't really like the looks of all those tall buildings in Rahway, and we can keep a limit. I don't know what the area is zoned for. Maybe that's a question I have to bring to another committee. But excited about it, and hopefully it'll be something that we can be proud of and lets the sun shine through and not block all the sun like other towns have been having to experience. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Glenn Fogarty. I live on 606 Goodman's Crossing in one of the apartment complexes over there. I spoke briefly at the last meeting. I'd like to second Councilman Toll's concerns about the Corrigan Gorney property. It's important to preserve our history. I'm not sure what can be done about it, but you know, I went to St. Agnes School, even though I was a Southside Scotch Plains kid, so I did the commute. But even having the Colonial Tavern in Scotch Plains sparked my imagination as a kid in the Cannonball House there by Town Hall. And it's important that we recognize these elements of our past, because once they're gone, they're gone. Also, with regard to the conservation group, I'm as a conservative, I am supportive of that. I was one of the kids that used to play in the St. Agnes Woods. Probably my own development there of a little fort from when I was 9 years old may still be back there, and I hope that doesn't qualify as overdevelopment from that time. If so, you know, so be it. But I think the broad scope of the plan of the county is just too much. You know, we have concerns as Deutscher Club members as well about impingement on the privacy of that, of our property as well. And it's, you know, there was an accident in the area where the entrance would be to the park a few weeks ago as well, and it's just too much. It's just too much, and we need to preserve the wildlife and the land. So that's a comment on that. From last meeting's business, I support the council's position on not being involved in promoting the offshore wind turbines. I've done more research on this, and I find it ironic that back in the 70s, the left was all about save the whales and save the dolphins, and now they are in a position of checking off the woke Green New Deal box, promoting these offshore wind farms because Governor Murphy wants them before he leaves permanently for his villa in Tuscany, leaving us with the expense, the pollution. There's quite a few. The pilings, when they build these things, can injure the sonar of whales and dolphins as well. The oil in the gearboxes can leak. There's a lot of maintenance involved in these wind farms. And, you know, I know there was a legal development down in South Jersey with regard to this. So I encourage the council to stay strong on this and not going along with this push for wind farms and the wind turbines. The other thing that came up at the last meeting, and I see our friends from Stronger Clark, the Democratic ticket or whatever ticket it is they are in fact running on, they have claims that they are going to make Clark transparent, honest, and more accountable. But the topic of their social media use came up at the last meeting, and I find that their behavior continues to be anything but transparent. They keep blocking people or eliminating people from their social media pages. Mr. Schulman in particular fails to answer pointed questions about what exactly their positions are on a variety of questions. He also claims that he is personally going to make Clark more vibrant, whatever that means. In the last 24 years here, you know, when I think of vibrant, when I look at Stronger Clark's candidates, perhaps with the exception of Bill Gershab, vibrant is not the word that comes to mind. I have rarely, if ever, seen them at Clark recreation events without them being there for the purpose of shilling for their own votes for past runs for council or the current run for council. Other people have tried to respond to their positions or try to find out what their positions are.
So for people who claim to be part of the democratic process, I find the fact that or my presumption or belief that they only want to speak to people within their own bubble is not conducive to a good election. How do we know what their positions are? They refuse to say. So that is my comment on them. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Delia Collins, 72 Georgia Street. I had a question. I tried to get up here regarding one of the resolutions, but you didn't give me time to get up. Okay. On Resolution 13, I know it already passed, but today I spent some time at the library trying to find out if there was there a bid put in by AJM contractors for this work. I couldn't find it. I went through a lot of pages on the town website. Does anyone know where the bid?
The bids are in my office, Delia. The bids are all in my office. If you'd like to see them, you're welcome to come in.
Yeah, by the time I went to try and find it, the office was closed.
I see.
I'd just like to have a little bit of information, because there has been some kind of rumors going around, and I know you don't like rumors, but that they're going to flip some property over there next to Bartell Park, closer to the reservoir, flip it with some of the property that the county owns on Lakeside Place. And this is, just at the rim, the back rim of the Bartell Park against the reservoir.
Yeah.
In the area by Lakeside Place, that the county is going to put the parking spots there.
There's no parking there.
Well, it shows on the map, so that's
They
why
told
I
us, I said it at the July 2nd meeting, that they had taken that out.
Okay.
I'm sorry? Well, they did say that to us, that they were going to take it out.
Okay.
Again, this is why we're going to meet with them to see what the new temperature of the water is, so to speak.
And is there any explanation of the various other capital improvements, where else this work is going to happen? Because it seems strange that this company, AJM, is from Clifton, and they've already had a contract back in 2021 with the county to do work for the county. And they're from Clifton. We don't have any...
Bids are done through like a fair and open process, so when a contract is awarded, we follow local public contract law.
And
So-
where, can I ask where to find it on the website?
Yes. Well, you can just find it, you can just Google New Jersey Local
tried.
Public Contract Law. I can send you a copy of it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a coincidence. I mean, it's just like road paving and other contractors. They can bid throughout the state, and that's the purpose of the fair and open process. Is there anyone else who wishes to come forward? Okay, seeing no one, I'd like a motion to close this portion of the meeting. Thank you, Councilman Toll.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. At this time, we'll move on to mayor, council, and professional comments.
Yes, very quickly, Madam President. Just, as they say in the era of transparency, every public bid is just what it is, a public bid. There's bidding laws in the state of New Jersey that we follow meticulously. And I don't think this company who's doing the Bartell Park parking lot, I don't recall them working for us in the past. Maybe they have, but I don't recall it. And the fact that they worked with Union County, it's just probably, what it is. Big companies bid out work in different municipalities, different county work. So I don't know nothing about that, but it's everything that we do is properly done. Bid openings are done the right way. The engineer puts the bid process together and everything goes out. I'd like to thank everyone for their conversation tonight and their thoughts. Again, to the Reservoir Committee people, We'll see what we have to hear next week, if anything. Who knows? You know, it's summer. We met in July 2 with the county, and it is a slower time of year in government. So let's see if there's any new thoughts or ideas, and we'll bring them to you and keep you updated as we are updated on it. But as of right now, today, at this moment, we know as much as you do. You may know even a little bit more, but that's what I can say. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the summer. Labor Day weekend coming up in a couple of weeks, and pretty soon we'll be, again, please get your branches out. There's 2 more cleanups this year, August and September, and that's it. And then we get into the fall season. So thank you for your comments.
There's certain weeks that it gets picked up on the 3rd.
The branches go out on the 3rd week, although no one listens to that, but that's okay. I'm not offended. It's been 24 years. You know, if you get beat down long enough, you don't think about it anymore. But we tell everybody the same thing every year. You're more than welcome to put out all you want, have fun, but put them out on the 3rd week. And it's nothing more for the aesthetics of the town, vehicular safety, pedestrian safety. You know, if they're a day or 2, we're not going to come yelling at you, but like sometimes our truck goes down the road the 4th week of the month, and 2 days later, people are throwing branches out. And the only thing I can tell you, try that in some of the other municipalities around here, you'll get a fine. We don't do that to you because we don't want to fine our people, but we hope for cooperation. That's all we can ask for. So 3rd week on the street, 4th week, we clean them up. And if there's a major storm event, we'll take care of them after that, but hopefully there won't be. Any other questions? That's it. Enjoy the rest of the summer. Thank you for your intelligent conversation this evening.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilman Hund?
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to congratulate the Clark Fire Department on their 100-year anniversary. My wife and I attended the event. It was a very nice event, had some nice food there, and the music was well. So it was a great event to see everyone out there. Saw quite a few people that are in the crowd tonight that were there as well. I want to thank the police department for the continued support of the nightly rounds with the lights on. I think that's a great thing that you guys started, and thank you for continuing that. And then just enjoy the rest of the summer, and we'll be back next month. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Hund. Councilman Mazzarella?
Yes, thank you, Council President. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, summer is winding down and school will be starting soon, so please, while traveling through our community, be mindful of the children that are around, the individuals on bicycles, adults walking around, mothers walking around with their children, with their strollers. Please, drive slowly. Be mindful of your area, and we don't want to have a fatality, and that would be a horror. So please, watch yourself driving around our community. You know, the volume of cars are increasing, of course. I mean, that's the nature of it. We have no control over that, but please, drive safely and slowly through our community. So until next month, be well, stay safe, and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Councilman Minetti?
Thank you, Madam President. Once again, congratulations to the Clark Fire Department, and I want to thank them for everything they do for our town. It is Clark Crusader season. Our fall sports over at all our schools have started already. I look forward to football season, field hockey, boys soccer, girls soccer, everything else. So just want to congratulate and get out there and support our student athletes over at the schools. It's just a great time, and you know, just gives you a sense of pride to root for our team. So that concludes everything. Have a great Labor Day, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Councilman O'Connor?
Yes, thank you. So I know the political season is upon us, and there seems to be some misunderstanding about the 2% cap with regard to the tax levy. The municipal tax levy represents the total amount Clark needs to raise through property taxes to cover all essential services like police, fire department, and road repairs. The New Jersey 2% cap on municipal budget increases is a legislative measure designed to keep local government spending in check. This cap restricts the increase in municipal budgets to no more than 2% annually. However, it's important to understand that the cap differentiates between 2 types of expenditures, inside the cap and outside the cap. Inside cap expenditures are the primary operating costs of a municipal services, including salaries, utilities, and routine maintenance. The 2% cap is strictly enforced by New Jersey State for these expenses to prevent unsustainable budget increases and excessive property tax hikes. Outside cap expenditures cover costs exempt from the 2% limit, such as debt service payments, pension contributions, and certain health benefits. These costs can rise above the 2% cap due to factors beyond the municipality's control, like fixed obligations or rising costs. Clark's municipal tax levy has increased by $5.8 million since 2014. I'll summarize the $5.8 million increase over the past 10 years, which covers both inside and outside of the cap expenditures. Pensions and statutory costs, $1.3 million, library, $420,000, health insurance, $950,000, emergency authorization, Hyatt Hills, $400,000, salaries, $2.5 million, and other, about $284,000. Gives you around $5.8 million. To minimize these outside cap expenditures, we have focused on long-term planning and strategic budgeting. We have incorporated measures like setting aside reserves and forecasting future needs, which help mitigate unexpected levy increases. Additionally, we ensure transparency and accountability through strong oversight and regular audits to address potential issues before they escalate. While inflation between 2014 and 2024 was around 32%, certain higher percentage costs like healthcare, energy, and pensions have risen more sharply. This disparity explains why some budget increases might exceed the general inflation rate. Understanding the factors affecting the municipal tax levy helps in explaining the changes affecting the town. And again, it's important to understand the tax levy. It's important to understand how it's calculated. So again, I just wanted to get it out there. It is political season, so these are the facts. With regard to the King Mansion, I grew up right near there, and everything you said is true. The haunted mansion, the backyard, and her being the truant officer. As a little kid, we were always afraid to go by her house because we thought she was going to come get us. Because I guess, remember in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, the person who drove that cart with the cage and had the kids in it, that's what we all kind of imagined would happen to us if we went by her house when we weren't supposed to. So a lot of good memories that will be missed. And, that concludes my report or my comments for this evening. Good luck to all the kids in school. Good luck to all the kids going back to college, specifically the freshmen. Enjoy no air conditioning in the dorms, as most of them don't have it. And I will see you next month.
Thank you, Councilman O'Connor. Councilman Smith.
Thank you, Madam President. Delia Collins, just on the bid process, just to maybe explain it a little better for you. Whenever there's a project that needs to be done in a town, we send out a request for bids. There's a date on them. They come in, usually in blank envelopes, marked with what the bid number is, and are opened at the same time. In this instance, there were 4 bids received for the Bartel parking improvements. The engineer reviews the bids and makes his recommendation to the business administrator and the mayor, and then that also comes to us, and we review them. And most times, if the engineer meets his expectations and the town's expectations, we go with it. In this instance, the lowest bid was about $247,333, which was the AJM Contractors, and the other 2 bids that we reviewed were $306,000 and $319,000. And we accepted the $247,000 bid because that did meet the specifications of the township engineer. And also enjoy the rest of the summer, and that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Councilman Toll.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm just going to piggyback on what was said about the fire department. I had this past Saturday visited the centennial celebration, and I had the true honor of being with Councilman Barr, Emeritus Council, who basically showed me all the new equipment we had purchased for the fire department and showed me all the response equipment that they have. And incredible. If you've ever been over to the firehouse, you hear the sirens go, but when you actually see this equipment not with a body on it, but being on display, and incredible what these guys do. Just an incredible job. And I'm just giving my accolades and what a great job they do for no pay. They go out in the middle of the night. It's been said, I'm not going to repeat myself, I'm just going to repeat what's been said. what a great job. And to Fire Chief Frank Sarasa and his staff, what an incredible work of art. All of it is done so meticulously for saving lives. And if you see the equipment, you understand, wow, we've invested well for your tax dollars into a project where life is saved and housing and all that is there. What a great job. It's just, you're overwhelmed by it all when you're sitting right up front, not with a fire truck, but all the equipment and everything they have to use to throw on their back and run into a burning house, just overwhelming. And Al, I had a great time. I had a lot of memories sitting there talking to you and showing me all those great things they have in that house on Broadway. I'm going to cut over to those we've lost in the last month. Joseph Soika, a 55-year resident of Clark, New Jersey, beloved husband of former Clark Councilwoman Marie Soika. To their daughter Diane, son Michael, and daughter Marie, and her many grandchildren, our deepest condolences to the Soika family. And I'm going to say this, I got a visit at Town Hall. We walked in at the same time. William Caruso. Mr. Caruso and I served back in the 80s. And he followed me into the history room where I have the history collection, the township's history collection. And he followed me in, and he kind of, in a weird way, said, how am I going to be remembered? I said, Bill, you going somewhere? You didn't, what's that all about? And he gave us a photo for the history room, which we will have on display. But he basically said, I want you to tell the people if something happens to me, his exact words, I want you to remember me for 3 things. I told his son and his brother tonight at the wake that I would honor him and his father's and his brother's wishes. Bill Caruso wanted to be remembered for 3 simple things. He was a 53-year resident of Clark. He was the founder of Clark Senior Housing. He was the founder and the initiator of the Clark Senior Bus. And he also brought in state, federal, and county money to Clark Senior Citizen programs. And that's what he did at his time as a councilman and many years thereafter as a resident of the township. So, Bill, I did what you asked. We'll leave it alone and wish you, wherever you end up, in good spirits. Thank you very much, Madam President. I have nothing else to say.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. I also want to congratulate our fire department, and it's always very exciting throughout the year when we hear about all the new volunteers that come in, and it's just amazing. It's really a priceless resource that we have, having that volunteer fire department. So kudos to all of our firefighters. We appreciate them. I'd just like to remind everyone, it's only a few weeks away, we have our 9/11 ceremony. I believe it's at 9/11, on 9/11, which is a Wednesday this year, and we hope to see you there. I know we have our regulars come out, so it's a nice way to show our honor, to honor those that passed, and also to just reflect upon our nation and the strength of it and how we can join together to keep it strong. And that concludes my report. I'd like to ask our professionals. Attorney, any comments?
Actually, tonight I do have a comment from Ms. Collins. The local public contracts law governs how municipalities may grant contracts. When a contract must be bid under the local public contracts law, it must be let to the lowest bidder, regardless of who that bidder is. So when you receive a bid that is the lowest, you have no choice but to accept it unless in some way it's non-responsive. That's all I have to say. Have a wonderful Labor Day weekend and enjoy the balance of the summer.
And I think that's what Councilman Smith was trying to explain, the non-responsive part, when he said that if the bidder is not responsive, they don't apply the scope of work that they're going to do isn't what was asked for, they're disqualified. But it always goes to the lowest bidder, and there are certain purchases that have to be made through that bidding. Madam Clerk.
No comments, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ulrich, our business administrator.
I have one comment. If everybody could go to our website, and there is going to be a survey. We do it every 2 years on prioritizing health initiatives within the town. There's a QR code on there. It's a 15-minute survey. We get all of the data. It's all anonymous data. we were second behind Westfield, so I want to be first on responses this year. But it also gives us a lot of additional information from a health and wellness perspective and things that we could do. It's only 15 minutes, and this goes along with all of the things that we're doing related to the Mayor's Wellness Campaign, our rec department, the Active Kids program that we're starting, and we're going to be making some more announcements about this, but we're going to have a sister city since the great rec department that we have run by Ralph Bernardo. We were approached by some intermediaries about doing a sister city with San Antonio on health, right? So we're going to be doing a lot of things, and this is important. This plays into our whole process of going forward. So 15 minutes on the website, QR code. We also have the paperwork in Town Hall if anybody wants to get the QR code. And then we're also going to try to get it up on TV 36.
Perfect. Okay. I'd like to request a motion to make an adjournment.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. Do I have a second?
After that.
Thank you, Councilman Hun. Meeting adjourned.